Alright, so let's go ahead and build the circuit for the amplified microphone that we have. Just a quick board setup description. We have the reds connected to the reds, so every red line has the power to it, and then the negative would be connected to the negatives all around the board. We have a battery that we've set up here, and the negative end of the battery we're just going to connect straight to the negative terminal. But what we want to do is put a switch on here so that we can turn it on and off. You want to put the switch on, Aiden? So this will help us while we're playing with the circuit. Alright, so then what we want to do is take the positive end of the battery and we'll plug it into one side of the circuit. So you want to pop that on the first pin there. So the power from the battery will go into the switch, and then we'll take a wire, and on the other side of the switch on pin 2 here, we will put it into the positive. So if all's working here, what happens is the power goes into the switch. If the switch is on, then it powers the rest of the board. And to just confirm, I take a LED, and the longer side of the LED, it has a long and a short side. The long side goes on the positive, so we'll push that in, and then what we want to do is connect a resistor to the other side. So you see the long side? Yep. Let's make this go out right here. Okay, so we've got 1/2 of the LED connected, and then we'll take a 1K resistor. You want to take that one? And we'll connect one end to the other end of our LED, and then put it into the negative blue. Yeah, so we can see our light came on. And then if we flip the switch, do you want to flip the switch? Okay. Off. Turn it back on. Yeah.
Pointing.
Yeah, I think it's a little loose in there, huh? Let's see. There it is. So it goes off and on. So what we'll do is, from a safety perspective, as we build the circuit, we want to make sure that the power is off. Do you want to turn off the power, Aiden? Okay, so that'll make sure that we're safe. And here's the circuit that we're going to build. Now, do you want to build it, which way do you want to start? From the left to the right, or from this side? Okay, left to right. So we'll start on this side, and we'll just kind of flow through the circuit, and as we go, we will mark it off. No, that's fine. There's no particular way to start. So let's put, it looks like one of the things that we can start with is the microphone. So you probably want to be talking into the microphone, so we can put it down towards the bottom of the circuit. Okay, so the microphone has a positive and a negative. There's a plus sign here on the mic in the picture. The negative side of the microphone is where the 3 lines are on this microphone. You can see 3 little lines here. So that's the negative. We'll put that on our right hand side. Okay, so I think that's as far down as it goes. Okay, on the negative part of the microphone we have, where does it connect to? Yep. So we want to just drop a wire from the right hand side of that mic into the negative. So this is kind of hard to see, so we'll pull it up a little bit. So this pin, yeah, that pin,
And where's the other one?
to the blue. Yep.
It goes white like Elsa Snow.
Yeah. You might have to bend it in just a little bit because it's a new wire, so you can bend it forward a little bit. not that way. And like the other way, yeah. There you go. That's too far. But no, that's good. Okay. We'll put that in the blue. Okay. So basically, what did we do? We did this connection right here. We can mark it off as we go here. On the other side, yeah, on the other side of the microphone, we have a 27K resistor that goes up to your positive voltage.
My favorite resistor is the 10 ohm.
The 10 ohm one, yeah, the big guy.
That's my favorite resistor.
Okay, so we have red, violet, orange is our. Let me make those pins a little bit straighter. Yep.
On all of them, there's 3 different colors, but there's always an extra color. It's like a brown color-ish.
Yep. And that's the tolerance. We don't have to worry about it. It's actually gold. So this wire would go from the other side of your microphone, the plus side, to the red somewhere.
So here's the plus, and it'll go to red. So let me put it underneath the mic on the plus. Red. Can you do it?
Yeah, let's pull this out real quick so we can see what's going on. So it'll be on this side, and then red. And we'll pop the mic back in. Okay, so we've got this one. Do you want to scratch that one off, that resistor? Up to here. Cool. And so that goes up to plus. Now, right in the middle of these, also we have a 10 microfarad capacitor. And there's a bunch of capacitors in this. The 10 microfarad also has a plus and a minus. You can see how this one is striped. It's gray. That's the minus. It means the other side's the plus. So the plus.
We have to do the plus because it's just plus.
Yeah, we got to put the plus right next to this microphone. And then the negative, what we'll do is we've got a couple things to connect to it, so we'll just kind of put it anywhere.
Like, so, like, never mind.
Yeah, so let's just find the positive side here. And you can put it next to that resistor. So this longer side.
I don't understand. Like where?
Just put it in this, yep, right under the resistor. Right under it. Yep.
Okay.
And then the other side, since we're going to be connecting things, you can just stick it over here somewhere, and we'll add some stuff to there. Cool.
That's a fun word to say. 10 microfarad capacitor.
10 microfarad capacitor. Okay, so in this other side here, we have a couple things to plug in. We have the main component that yeah, you can scratch that off. Yep, that capacitor. Yep. So we just scratched off this line right here. So we'll put in this transistor because that has 3 connections to it. That's a pretty big component next. The transistor has 3 connections to it. Pin 1.
It's hard to cross it off sideways. It's easier to go up and down.
Yeah. If you look at the flat side, then pin 1 is on your left. So we see pin 1, pin 2, and pin 3. This capacitor is going to go to pin 2 here, right in the middle. So why don't we put the capacitor kind of anywhere? You can put it here. Well, put it around where we are. A little too close. Spread it out a little bit. Yep. Okay, so pin 2 is going to connect to this capacitor. So let's figure out how to get that over there. We need a wire. Let's try this brown one. I'm going to hit pin 2 here.
Pin 2, hit pin 2.
Actually, that's not even close, is it? Okay. A little bit longer.
Need a bigger wire. Like a white maybe.
Okay. So that hits
Almost all the way. Yeah.
There you go.
Got it.
So what we just connected was this connection to the transistor. So you want to cross that off right here?
This one?
Just that little part that's right between the, yep. Alright, now let's look at this. What happens, here's pin 1. What do we put in between pin 1 and blue?
Pin 1 and blue.
What is that?
1K resistor.
Yeah. 1K resistor is brown, black, red. We just had one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just take that, and where's pin 1? It's right here. And that would just go on pin 1, and the other side would go into your blue. Perfect. Yeah, we don't need the speaker till the very end. So do you want to scratch off this one, this big line? Alright. Then the only thing we have to populate is pin 3 of our transistor. So pin 3, you have a 100K resistor between pin 2 and pin 3.
100K.
So 100K between pin 2 and pin 3. So our resistor for 100K is brown, black, and yellow. So this is a big guy. But somehow it has to go between these little teeny pins.
It'll be like a squeezed together train.
Yeah, do you know how to get it from the basically one side of that pin 1 to the other side of that pin 3? Did you get it? No. You want me to help?
Got it.
Let's make sure it gets in there though. Yeah, okay. That's good. We could bend it down a little bit to get it out of the way. Okay, so let's scratch off that 100K. Okay, so our next thing that we'll do is we'll hook up the 10K. And that goes also connected to pin 3 to the positive.
The 10K resistor. Pin 3. Let me see. 3. Red. That's a small space.
Yeah.
Go through.
Nice.
Alright, so let's cross off our part. We forgot to cross this off earlier, so we can just cross it off now.
Alright, so let's put the 10K capacitor, and we need the positive end to connect to pin 3.
Got it.
So that is the longer pin. The longer pin would go to pin 3 somewhere here. Is there a spot there?
Just right here.
Yep.
And then the other end.
You know, so what we're doing here is I would probably just stick it anywhere in here, in the main part of the board.
Just put it here.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and since we're working on kind of a different part of the circuit, let's just kind of move out to a different section here.
Got it.
So we can take a wire and we'll put it here, and just so we're not crowding things around, we can kind of move up here, and that'll be our new place to work. So that other end of the capacitor, the negative end, is now attached up here. Now the next part of our circuit, you want to cross off the 10 microfarad?
Okay.
With this, or?
This, where, which one?
Whichever.
10.
This one right here. Yep. Okay, so we just crossed off this. And the next part of our circuit is this audio pot. So this is your volume knob. Turns it up and down. And that'll just go into our IC, right? So we'll probably want to put our IC down somewhere and get our audio pot set up. Do you want to maybe put the IC kind of in between here, Hayden? And with this, you want to make sure there's a little notch on the left-hand side. You want to keep that on the left so that you have pin 1 sitting here. And how this is laid out is you have pin 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it just wraps around. This is pin 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just try and figure out where some of these things go. So the one thing that we have is we have pin 2. Let's look at our circuit here. Pin 2 goes here. Where's that? Blue. So we want to put that on. You want to put the pin 2 and then hook it into blue. Where's pin 2? Yep.
I think we need a bigger one.
It'll go in. Maybe one of the things you have to do is maybe push these a little bit closer together. There you go, bud.
That one doesn't fit.
Okay, do you want to scratch off that one? So 2 going to ground.
Green crayon. Where?
2 going down to blue. And then what's between pin 2 and pin 3?
I don't know.
What's that?
The Jameco
Speak up.
The Jameco capacitor.
It's a 0.01 microfarad capacitor. So this is one of these little guys. So that goes between pin 2 and pin 3. And what that does is it actually helps get rid of some noise. So whenever we're looking at capacitors in this IC, it's just kind of getting rid of noise and squeaks and squeals and feedback.
Like things that get in the way of the processing.
So then on pin 3, also here we have, it goes to the middle part of the potentiometer, which is this volume knob. So I already hooked it up with some wires. So this green wire is the middle, and we want to hook that into pin 3 also.
The yellow side wires are not in the middle.
Yeah, so you want to pop the green wire onto the pin 3. You put it in front of the capacitor, the other way. Okay, that's fine. So you want to scratch those off. So basically we have pin 3. Well, scratch it with your green marker. Green crayon. And then scratch this little capacitor off.
This one?
Yep.
Both of them?
Just do one thing. Yep.
Both capacitors?
Yeah. Cool. So this is where we are now. We've gotten this connection down. Let's just tie in the rest of the potentiometer now that we're here. We have that connected. So we want one end of the potentiometer to go here. Where's that gonna go?
Blue.
Blue. You want to pop one of the wires in? So one of these two, right?
Sure.
To blue. Cool. And the other end of the potentiometer goes to the other side of that 10 microfarad capacitor that we put in a lot earlier. So what I had done with that,
the 10 microfarad capacitor,
is I dropped it right here, so we can actually connect this other one right in line with that. Yep. And so that kind of connects into that capacitor. So we can cross off those two lines now. You want to cross off this line and this line from the potentiometer. So now our volume knob should work. Let's see if we could pull it up so that maybe we can actually turn it. Okay, cool. What else? Now look at this IC. What are some other pins we have to connect? Here's pin 6. Where does it go?
Red. Can we connect this?
That's in a little bit. So pin 6 goes to red. Now this is very important. We got to get pin 6 right. So if you look at, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it wraps around 5, 6. So this is pin 6. So let's put that going into red. I think you can use this.
From here, where the green marches, down is pin 6.
Yep. You want to pop that in? So that's our positive power to this IC.
And where? To where?
Red. That's not the right pin though. Go one over.
Do it.
Next up is pin 4.
And it's attached to blue.
Yep.
4 and blue.
Awesome. You want to scratch it off?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we got right here. Then what's going on with, so another thing to note here is we have a connection between pin 1 and pin 8. And if you look at this little loop here, that means it's not connected to pin 6. So all we're saying here is there's a 10 microfarad capacitor between 1 and 8.
10 microfarad capacitor. Is this 10 microfarad capacitor?
No, this guy.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's a resistor.
pin
That's
1,
the capacitor.
Pin 1 has the positive end, which is this end. So you want to put that in pin 1.
Pin 1.
And
Where
then
does the negative end go?
pin 8. So it's right on the other side of that. Yep. And we'll scratch that off. You want to
That was
scratch this
such
off?
like twist. Where?
Oh, between 1 and 8. What that connection does is it helps it make the IC much louder. It's a amplifier, so that makes it even louder. Yep. And then pin 7. So we're almost done with the IC here. We have pin 7 and pin 5 left, and then the rest of it's just connecting up the speaker.
And other things like this one.
So off of pin 7, what do we have here, Eden?
The 10
Microfarad, yeah.
microfarad capacitor. Which is this big guy?
No, that's the resistor.
Oh, that's the resistor.
It's one of these guys again. So you'll hook the positive end up to pin 7 and the negative end up to what? Where does it go?
Blue.
Yep. So pin 7, let's move your guy over a little bit more. Pin 7's right next to pin 8.
You can do it, Daddy. You can move the guy over.
Okay, so pin 7. There we go. So that's this connection. Do you want to scratch it off?
Sure. All the way down to the bottom, or all the way down to 10?
Yeah, from 7 to yep, all the way to the bottom. All right, just a couple things left. So off of pin 5 here, we have a couple of things going on. So here's pin 5. On one side of pin 5, we have a 0.01 microfarad capacitor. So this gets a little complicated off of pin 5, but we're going to connect, on one of the parts, we're going to connect a 0.01 microfarad capacitor off of pin 5 here. So here you go, Evie. And pin 5 is right here. So do you want to stick one end of that into pin 5? And yeah, and the other end, actually scoot it over one little bit. There you go. The other end we'll just stick in the circuit there. And now, so if we look at the other end of this capacitor, let's look, it's going to go onto a 10 ohm resistor. This is this big guy here. So you want to put one end of this next to that capacitor we just put down. Right next to this capacitor. Put one end in, scoot it over one so it's right under it. Scoot it over just a little more. It should go right underneath, like right here. There you go. And then the other end of that goes into the blue line. So anywhere across here that's blue. Cool. So that's that 10 ohm resistor, and then what we do is we scratch that off. So do you want to scratch off from here all the way down to here? Yep, okay. So what we've got is we did this part here. Now also coming off of pin 5 is a 470 microfarad capacitor. That's one of these big guys. So we want the plus.
You put my favorite part in without me.
We want the plus side of that to go off of pin 5. So can you plug it in right, let's move this little capacitor, right above that capacitor here. One, there you go. And then let me see where the other end goes. It goes on the speaker. So I don't know, yeah, just put it somewhere over here and we can put the speaker on. Here, let's
scratch it off.
We'll just put it across the circuit here.
Off?
Yeah, scratch that up to the speaker. And then now we've got the speaker here.
Speaker.
So we want to connect some wires to it.
Wires. What wires are these?
Get a green
and a yellow.
And a yellow.
Yellow.
So one of these wires, can you connect it to the other side of this capacitor? Let's put this here.
And put those in.
And since we can't
plug.
Can't really see this capacitor very well. There we go.
Plug it in.
Yeah, so that one you can plug into the capacitor there, right here. One up. Yeah. And then the other one we want it to go to a ground. Actually plugged this in a second ago and it fell off. Obviously you can solder these to make them a little...
I think it thinks it's going to ground.
Yeah, so you want to plug this in the blue?
Yeah.
And somewhere across here that's blue. Cool. So there's the speaker hookup.
Scratch it off.
Yep, scratch off the speaker. One of the things that we noticed is that there was one mistake we made. When we were putting in this 100K resistor, we put it on pin 1 and it needed to go on pin 2. So we take this particular connection here and we've moved it to the middle pin. And that'll fix the input here because it wasn't working. So the last thing we have to do is put this next capacitor in. Do you want to put this in?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So
where does it go?
This is the 470K or 470 microfarad capacitor.
Where does it go?
You can put one end in the blue. Do you see a blue line here? So, yep, that end right here would go in the blue. Yeah, pop it in there. And then this red, the other end of it will go in red. So this is that last component.
You broke the pencil.
There. So when we look back at the circuit, it's this last 470 microfarad capacitor.
That moving on top.
So do you want to turn it on?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you turn it on? Turn on the switch. Yeah, so our light lights up. Now let's go over some safety. So if this is the first time we turn on the board, we just want to make sure things aren't heating up. So we can touch the battery, touch the IC, touch some other components. Just make sure that we don't have any fire hazards going on. Especially kind of down here, there's a lot of...
This one's heavy.
Yeah, down here there's a lot of different wires that could accidentally touch each other. So just make sure nothing's accidentally connected. So let's see. Can you tap on it? Does it work? Yeah. You want to test it out? Let me say something. Get real close. Get down real close and say something.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah. Keep going. Any more words you want to say?
Yeah.
You say testing, testing.
Testing, testing.
Woo! A little bit of feedback there, huh?
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
And it's heated.
Yeah, so it looks like we got everything working.